Welcome to Heart Speak Podcast, episode 233, The I Out of the We, a new moon on the equinox. Well, hello there, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome, and it is so good to be with you. We do live in exciting times. More and more energy coming up from the collective, from this super consciousness, inspiring us to be all that we are. And I hope that after working with this celebration last week, we're ready to do a deep dive, not necessarily a meditation deep dive, but a deep dive into the collective. Because the equinox that's coming up is very much about equal day, equal night, which means it's a portal into the collective. It's meaning there is no division, there's no separation. And so we fall into what I call the ocean of possibilities, the collective unconscious or the collective superconscious, because everything that will ever be created and that ever has been created exists in this ocean of possibilities. It's an exciting time. The collective isn't just flowing around like an ocean, it is actually connected to currents. Some of the currents are small, some of the currents are large, some of them are coming from just our local neighborhood, some of them are coming from far out in the universe. And so what we're really asking ourselves is, what currents am I now flowing in? And am I ready to expand the currents that I work with? Am I just been working around my little local neighborhood? Or am I now feeling this pulsing energy that's coming in from, we could say, the galaxy, from the universe? Or am I feeling different? And this is what I like to call the super consciousness, this new level of knowledge, information that is activating us at this time. But to be able to tap into all those different currents, we have to let go. Because if our bowl of collection of new currencies and new consciousness and new currents, I like the idea of currents and currency being together, but if we are to collect this into ourselves, we have to have an empty bowl. And I really have come to discover that emptying of the bowl is the hardest piece. Because we're so used to holding on to our security blanket. This is who I am. These are my identities. This is what I know how to do. Don't ask me to empty that and go into the unknown. But that's exactly what's happening. I mean, if we even just look at this Pluto transition into Aquarius out of Capricorn, it's as if as it makes that transition, there is this gap, this space between, we could say, the Capricorn energy and the Aquarian energy of collective consciousness. The Capricorn is about integrity, as I say, following the rules. But Aquarius is about going beyond the rules, out of space-time. That's scary because we're so familiar with this sort of order that, as I say, gives us security. So we might push against the rules and say, oh, it's not fair, but there's another level of us quite like someone telling us what to do or to have the rules, the structure by which we live our lives. But literally with Pluto moving next week and with this equinox, which is also about making space, it's literally we're falling into this gap. We're falling through a doorway into this unknown, but known to our hearts. We're saying, I don't know who I am. I let go of everything that I am in the outer world, and I'm ready to become all that I am. And that's why I called it the I out of the we, or the we into the I, because it's really about not just my self-development and my route, but how do I express the collective in the world through my unique way. And I can only do that by stepping out of a small cell or room that I've been living in and being willing to flow in these new currents, picking up new currency. not the currency of a central bank, but new currencies of energy. Let me flow in a way that will always be tapping into my higher self, my higher mind, my higher potential. And the process that I suggest we all go through, that if we say, and I think the equinox is just a day before the new moon, but let's put them together. But let's say the equinox might be on the 20th, depending where you live, the new moon in Aries, which is again the beginning of an astrological journey. We always see in astrology Aries at the start. So we're beginning a new life, a new world, a new currencies, a new energy that is surging into us at this time. So just before that happens, I suggest on the 19th, and maybe even the few days leading up to that 19th, you really do, as I like to teach when I'm working with women's work, which is, first of all, celebrate. And you've been doing a lot of that, I hope, after last week's podcast. Then ask ourselves, what did I learn about myself? And you can make it just in the last week, but you can say, what have I been learning about myself? What have I embodied that is rich within me that wasn't there before? And then ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of? And as always, that may be relationships, but it may also be the way I relate, or the way I turn up, or the way in which I follow my heart in a way that I don't just follow things that I should do or must do, or I fear not doing. So what am I letting go of that frees me up to be all that I am? Even if you don't know what that is, but where am I limiting myself? Again, that Capricorn energy, where can I free myself up? So that do that before the 19th, I suggest. And what I like to do when I'm working with any new moon is to take that little list, maybe at sunset on the 19th, and read that out. I'm celebrating this. I've brought this into my heart about myself, and this is what I'm letting go of. And as I do that, I place my hands around a cup of water or a glass of water that I've taken outside with me, and I let all the things I'm letting go of be absorbed into that water. And then I pour that water on Mother Earth, who is much larger than I am, and I say, please take and transform this energy. I am ready to let it go. And what we're really doing is dissolving the boundaries that keep us separate from this ocean of possibilities. That's what water does. So the water is not just, oh, I'm letting it go and pouring it on there. As we let go, it's like having a shower. We say, I am no longer this. I am dissolving the boundaries of my identities that up until now have given me security. I am ready to be all that I am. Okay, so you're saying at the end of the pouring of the water, I am complete, I am empty, I am ready to be full. And then we move into that collective unconscious. And prior to, I have to say, the filling up stage, which everybody wants to do, so what am I going to be? It is like having a life review. So it is like a mini death. And what we've learned about mini deaths, or people who have gone through life reviews and come back to tell us, we get the chance to see our lives flash before us with our three wise men, or three weird sisters, WYRD, wise women. And they are not there to judge and say, look at what you did there, that was stupid. We do that to ourselves. But they watch us see how our actions impacted the world around us, the effect of our actions and our thoughts and our words on those around us. And it is that that changes us, because all of a sudden we realize that we are not separate. We're not having a life and we can throw some thoughts out there or some words and it has no impact. What we see is the vibrations, or the vibrations going out of us like a ripple with every thought, word, and action. And we see the effect on other people. This is the energy of the world of the fifth sun, as the Maya call it. We will no longer be able to just say, oh, it doesn't matter, nobody else matters. Or even, if I may say, do things for others that then really what we're wanting is to have the praise coming back to us of how wonderful we are. So again, what is the effect of my action may be, oh, I thought I was being so loving, but actually I was seeking approval. Now, I don't expect you to do all of this month, but let's start to understand that those ripples are happening all the time. And that our actions do have an effect. And it's not about good or bad. Nobody cares about that. It's like, if that was you having that action placed upon you, or those thoughts, you are going to now feel the effect of your actions back to you again. Make sense? It can't be separate. So what I do unto you, I do unto myself. Again, no judgment. It's just like, wow, I didn't realize that that ripple, that standing wave would come back to me again. And how do I wish to proceed? And at the same time, we get the life review of how full is my bag of all the talents that I brought down to the earth in the first place? Have I used them all up? How have the expression of my talents actually enriched my life? And that's why the Egyptians weighed the heart against the feather. It's how light is my heart? How have I enlightened my heart? Or how have I become more enlightened because of my actions and because of giving my talents into the world and actually feeling the benefit or the pleasure of them being activated? Now, again, no judgment. But this is really a chance to say to ourselves, again, coming just back to where we are today or coming into this equinox new moon, which of my talents have I been holding on to tightly that now need to be expressed? Or which of my talents are overused? I know how to do them. I've got PhDs in it. Don't do it anymore. Just because you can do something well, it doesn't mean you should keep doing it. And where have I not used the power given to me by those who may have left over the last few years? In other words, passed over. Because every time a loved one passes over, we gain their power, and they're saying, don't waste my power. I died in order to enrich you. Where have we not used that energy for maybe changing our family, if it's a family member, or changing a pattern that's there saying, don't waste this energy, make the changes. And finally, my thoughts went to an idea that was some years ago, where I realized, or I heard, that the dark side, if we want to say the dark or the negative, are very well organized. They know what they're doing. It's those who believe they're in the light who are more confused, because they keep going into the darkness to try and change the people in the darkness to bring them into the light. Stop it. Those days are over. I want to say the villains are probably doing a really good job. When they look at their life review, they went, okay, I came to do that, done it well, yay! Whatever you may think. But they have fulfilled the destiny, whether it's their personal destiny or not. But every time someone does something, it's not about judging them and trying to change them. What actions and ways have we changed ourselves because of the villains doing what they're doing, of which more and more is coming to light? Don't try to change them. We can ask that they see the effect of their actions on others. But more importantly is, because of their actions, how have we changed? Where are we becoming more vocal? Where are we becoming more collective? Again, Mars is about to move into Cancer, the family. Where are we now using this energy to create a more global family? Pluto into Aquarius, where are we looking at a more collective way of being? So this equinox, even though it sounds terribly exciting to say, yay, let's create something new, don't create something new from the old fabrics. Don't just keep picking up the old stuff. Be willing on that equinox to drop into the gap, drop into these amazing new currencies that are coming our way. I love this word currencies rather than currents, but these amazing levels of consciousness that are saying you are more than you are, waking us, our DNA up. And when on that 21st, if that be the new moon for you, on that day, go out if you can towards the morning and draw the energy up as if the sun is rising up along your roots, along your legs, into your body. Fill yourself with this new energy. These new currencies become abundant. And recognize that everything you're doing is benefiting the collective. You may not know that until long after. Doesn't matter. Your ego doesn't need to know. But when we dip deeply into the collective and we draw up from the collective, the only thing we can do is serve the we as well as the I. This is a time of tremendous power, enthusiasm, and creativity. I love being around all of you. I love your energy. Dip deep. I'll dip with you as we go into those collective unknowns. And then each of us individually, we draw up the very best that we can be in this moment. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the HeartSpeak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Please check out all HeartSpeak episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. HeartSpeak is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Sticher Radio, and now playing on Amazon Music and iHeart Radio. You can also watch the archive podcast on Christine's channel, on YouTube, and now on Rumble. Connect with Christine on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, including her newest Facebook group, The Great Mother Calling. Do share with family, friends, colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of HeartSpeak.